summer in China, Chinese landscape painting. And one of our professors, our main professor, just by chance, because I come from San Francisco, from the San Francisco Art Institute, which is a very well-known abstract expressionist school. To China to learn painting, he felt like he wanted to show us something about Chinese abstract painting. So through his interpreter, first of all, this is a elderly Chinese man who showed up every day to paint with black ink on paper with lots of water, wearing all white cotton. So he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And every day he would go up onto his table and show us how to do calligraphy or show us how to do mountains. And then one day, he took all this stuff off the table and put it on the floor. And we're all just standing there and he's talking to the translator, and he proceeds to tell us a story about this monk called Wang Mo from the 6th century in China. And the story, it's like the Chinese ancient Jackson Pollock story, basically. It's a story about Wang Mo, and he would paint in these super expressionistic, abstract ways with his ponytail in the ink. And he would drink lots of rice wine and just start painting. And he would just go crazy. And then the next day, he would look at what he painted and then pull out, and then he'd add the traditional Chinese rocks and waterfalls and whatnot. So as he's explaining this whole story to me, which, a drunk monk painting with his ponytail is pretty much a good enough story for me, something clicks in my head, because I hadn't really been an abstract artist up until that point, and then there was something in this process that made sense to me. And I remember looking at my professor, who I was there with, who was very close to, and had a very close relationship in school with, and I just looked at him and he just smiled because he knew something had clicked. And that was in the summer of 2000. But so the work itself for me, I used to paint these kind of really large industrial kind of rendered surreal landscapes. And this was when I was in art school, and they're giant oil paintings, super detailed, takes 6 months to finish. It's all about the tension between nature and technology. Both my parents are research scientists, but I grew up with my feet in the mud in Florida. I grew up totally an outdoor kid, raised by a zoologist and a microbiologist. So my life was spent between being as dirty as possible and being sat in the corner of my mom's lab and being told, don't touch anything with the yellow marks on it. Or the radioactive symbol. I knew what that was. By the time I was 4, I knew what that meant. So there was always this dichotomy between the two in my head. And then, so the abstract, or the more surreal landscape, were more literally man's stamp on nature kind of thing. And then when I went to China and saw the subtlety that they could get with their painting, I wanted to be less direct about that message. So the original gateway into working this way for me was, let's think about how we view nature now. Most of the time, we don't actually go outside. We don't actually experience what's out there. We either, at best, see it through our car window. But usually it's on your TV, on your computer, on some kind of screen. And the fact that somebody else has taken an image for you and then presented it to you and told you this is it, this is the truth, this is what's out there, that's an abstraction of it. They've already taken what's real and decided what it is for you. So I decided that my work with this should be about viewing landscape through technology and how that abstracts things. And when you abstract things to a certain level, then what are we really trying to convey? For me, I'm trying to convey the emotion of experiencing landscape. So each one of these pieces is related to an experience I have actually being outdoors in the landscape. I still spend a lot of time outdoors. I'm a very outdoor active person. So that's where the imagery comes from, or that's where the concept comes from. The actual image itself is starts as this, same as the guy, my professor in China, with rice paper on the floor. I poured splash ink and water and I laid layers on top of each other. And they bleed into each other, make all these totally random creations. And I'll hang the paper up and I'll look at them and I'll try to figure out how to assemble a composition to create these moods or recreate these memories I have of landscape. Because I'm never trying to create a perfect rendition of landscape. I just want you to understand what I felt when I saw it. But I don't know. It's one of those things where I keep thinking, when am I going to stop doing this? But I never stop having ideas for it. So I keep making them.